Hello, welcome to the Homeschool Mommy Mentor. I'm your hostess, Donna Goff, and I'm here to talk to you today a little bit more about how to teach our children how to work. Today, we're going to focus on the concept of family work. So, what is family work? Family work is parent led, family shared work. It's working shoulder to shoulder, side by side, things that we can do together. It's not everything that we do in our home, but there are certain tasks and things that lend themselves to family work. Meal prep. You can have a child on either side teaching them how to stir. My husband was in the kitchen last night with my 4-year-old granddaughter. He had her standing on a stool, learning how to pour the milk into the glass cup and then pour it into um, the dish that they were making. Her own mother was here visiting. It was almost 10 years ago. We had some house guests here, and they had two little boys, 18 months old and 27, 28 months old. So they were really close together. And the older child, um, he would repeat everything that you said. And so the adults weren't paying attention. They thought, oh, what an intelligent child. Look, his vocabulary, everything. And he was just repeating verbatim. He was practicing. And and he was bigger than a normal 28-month old. And he looked like a kindergartner. And so people expected him to behave like a kindergartner. Well, my daughter came over to visit, and she was here and she was expecting, and she put one child on each side of her, and they were following a recipe in the kitchen as the mom sat next to me in tears, thinking and saying, I wish I could parent like that. And my daughter was saying, okay, what's the next thing on the recipe? Let's look at it. It says 1 teaspoon. Can we find the teaspoon? And she found the teaspoon. And she says, okay, this says teaspoon. It matches that word. 1 teaspoon cinnamon. Okay, let's find the jar with the cinnamon on it. And then she took them through the whole thing. Yes, it took longer, but you know what? Those kids were having a good time. They were not getting in trouble, and they were in there learning. They were learning how to cook. So, meal prep is something you can help a child learn how to make ranch dressing or Italian dressing for that matter, and stir it in a container or put the lid on it and make sure that lid's on tight and then shake it up. Um, Meal prep, setting the table. Now, setting the table is an opportunity for the group of children to learn, and the younger ones can learn how to count and sort and identify. So, how many of us are there here? There's mom, that's one, and dad, that's two, and you, that's three, and big brother, that's four, and big sister, that's five, and the lady across the street, that's six. Oh my goodness, we're going to have six people here. So, how many plates do we need? We need six plates and six cups and six knives and six forks. Oh, and we can't forget the napkins. We need six napkins. So we go and get those out. I use cloth. Others use paper, but I use cloth so I can reuse and reuse and use them, wash them on sanitize. And anyway, we're teaching them to set the table, but they're also having time with us. Meal cleanup after. Nobody, when you have a large family, we have 7 children. Nobody should be stuck in the kitchen alone while everybody goes off to play, watch their TV show, be on the computer, have a good time, whatever. That is just unfair. I don't care if it rotates over and over again. I had a midwife at um, my granddaughter, the one that's just 4, when she was born. Um, Midwife pulled me aside and she said, Donna, I have a question for you. She had been my midwife, and she knew that I worked with homeschoolers because I had mentored her daughter in high school. And her daughter was now an adult, and she was training to be a midwife and everything, and she was living at home, and they have a large house, and so they have other family members that are there as well. And it seemed that the youngest daughter always ended up doing the dishes, and everybody went off doing their things. And so she asked me, she says, "What do you suggest I do?" And I said, "Family work. Everybody eats, everybody makes the mess, everybody helps clean up." My children all learned from the earliest time that they could lift their plate up to take it to the sink to help rinse it off and stack it after dinner, and to help pick up the condiments and put them away. Um, I use canning jars with wide mouth. With lids, and I use the lids over and over again, not for canning, but to take leftovers and put them in glass jars, and or chop up lettuce and salad and salad ingredients and put them in jars so I can see them in the refrigerator, but I can use the jars over and over again and the lids over and over again in the refrigerator for the leftovers. So I got a bread pan, and I put all the rings and the lids in there, and I put it down where the children are. I put the children's cups and plates down where that they could help put them away when they were small. And so we all work together. Tidying is another thing that we can do together. Sorting laundry, folding and putting it away. You can do that. And the key is not just handing the pile to a child and telling them to take it to their room and putting it away, but it is also helping them gain the habit of putting it away. So we walk them through and take them to their rooms and make sure that we see them open the drawer and then put the clothes in the drawer. Otherwise, it might end up on the bed or the floor. And when they go back in there to clean up their room, they end up picking it up and throwing it in the dirty laundry again. And as you're sorting through the laundry, all of a sudden you find these folded clothes that have never been worn, you know. So meal prep, setting the table, meal cleanup, folding, putting away the laundry, sorting, folding, and putting away the laundry, tidying. You can be in there working with them and tidying. Let's make piles. Let's find the things that don't belong in this room and find the piles that belong in the different rooms so that we can get them put away. And then you can help them take them to those rooms. And if you do it systematically, they develop a habit. If you do it willy-nilly differently every time, then they're not learning a skill of organizing. So you're helping them learn how to organize, and you see them through. Going through and helping them make the beds. A couple years ago, I fell. I was running in the house, breaking a rule. I didn't turn on the light, but I had light from the other room shining in. I thought I could see everything clearly, and I came around a corner and hit a box with my foot, and I went flying, and I put my shoulder behind, the whole shoulder came out of socket and behind my back. And oh yeah, very painful. It was an hour and a half before they could get the shoulder moved back to where it belonged. And I got a fractured scapula, so it took a long time to heal. And during that time, my daughter was helping me make my bed, and I really appreciated that. And then we would go into her room, and I could do what I could do to help her, but I didn't have any strength. Once the arm, it took about 6 weeks before I could even lift my arm up this high, you know. And so I really became aware of how difficult it was for her to make her trundle bed, because it's massive and you can't pull it out from a wall, and it's really difficult to make. And I started really considering deeply how making beds are difficult for young children. Um, and oh wow, I can now move my arm. I've got it all back, you know. But during that time, I learned a lot of things. If you want to see how difficult it is for a child to do something, have someone tie a bathrobe belt around your arms so you can only move your arms from your elbows. So you have shorter arms, and try and do those things. if you do it as a team, it goes so much easier. And my granddaughter came over during that time and she said, I made my bed this morning and I have my morning routine. And she says, and I helped Joseph too, her little brother and her little sister. And she came in one day and my daughter was gone and she helped me make my bed. And I just thought that was so sweet and that she had been taught that. Helping pick up toys, gardening, yard work, washing the car. Those are things that can be done as a group. We are showing them the way as we're working with them. As we go through helping them do these things, we are also teaching them how to start work, how to plan it and carry it out. We're teaching them timing, how to pace themselves, attention to detail, quality work, staying on task, our work attitude and our work ethic, follow through, and so much more, and finishing the work that we start. Now, one of the things I teach in the Dish the Stress webinar is 30-minute power cleans. That taught me how to break down a task and say, oh, I know I can clean that top shelf in 30 minutes, or I know I can do this in 30 minutes or that in 30 minutes. So it's a complete task. And so I don't try to say I'm going to do the whole thing. I'm going to clean the whole room today, go through all the drawers and the closet and everything else. I don't have that kind of time to take a whole day to do those kind of things. So I break it down in bite-sized tasks that I can do. Well, tidying can be the same way. We can go through and say, let's take about 20 minutes and see if we can pick up the pillows, and let's first make the bed. And now that we've made the bed, we can use a bed as a staging area. Let's pick up the clothes. Oh, is this clothes dirty or clean? Oh, well, this is clean. Let's put it back in the drawer, hang it in the closet. This is dirty. Let's put it in the hamper. Okay, now that the bed's made and the laundry's taken care of, let's pick up the toys. And you're there with them. And if you're there with them, you're helping them stay on task. Okay, where does this toy go? Okay, so that you start putting the toys away. Oh, you have some books out. Where do these books go? And you take the same steps each time and you're teaching them how to be ordered and organized. And when you're done, you stop. You may just say that we're going to do beds right now and we're going to gather the laundry. And so those are the two tasks. And then you can worry about going back and tidying up the toys and the other things later after you've gotten this taken care of. And so you can pace the task. You can follow through and finish it. Let's make beds. Bed's done. Let's pick up the laundry. Laundry's done. Now we can go pick up the toys. They're separate things. And we help them get them done, and they get a habit and a routine going. What about work that can't be done together? That is what I'll address in the next video. So start young, when they're about 3 years old, and patiently work with them in family work. Invite them in. Their attention span is about their age in minutes. So a 3-year-old would be about 3 minutes. An 8-year-old would be about 8 minutes. Longer if they're engaged with everybody else and they're engaged. So family work is parent-led, side by side, hands-on, setting the pattern of this kind of learning. And once we participate in family work, you're starting when you're really little. If you're still living at home as an adult, you participate in family work. And when it's time for family work, everyone in the house participates, unless they are excused for illness, injury, or a high priority task. And a high priority task may be you have a young scholar working on a project. If they are anxiously engaged in working on that project or finishing something for a test or something like that, you might give them a pass in family work at that time. But family work is not given a pass to go on Facebook or be on the computer. And so it has to be high priority. And so my midwife, she went back and she instituted that in her home with the adults. Took a lot of stress off the youngest daughter. Everybody had to understand that, hey, we're all adults here. We all contribute. And to running this home, and nobody's going to get stuck. No one's going to get stuck. We're all going to work together. Sing as you work together and make it joyful. Laugh, share, and be open to your children asking you questions. Sometimes they're crazy hypothetical questions. Sometimes you wonder, where are these kids getting these questions? But answer questions, share something that you're learning from something you're reading or something you read in the scriptures that day, and don't hesitate to take advantage of teaching moments. Talking to your children as you're making bread, and you can talk to them about what leaven is and what it's supposed to do. The yeast is a leaven that helps rise the bread, and that God intended us to be leaven. Or if you're using salt or filling the salt shakers, you can talk about how we're supposed to be the salt of the earth and what that means. And take advantage of those moments and those times. They don't come around and hang around. I mean, they come and they're fleeting, and then you look back and you go, wow, I missed it. When I learned about family work, I had been doing chores for about 10 years with my kids, assigning them chores, giving them check-off lists to do, and that kind of thing. And I sat down when I realized about those teaching moments in Deuteronomy 6, and I just sobbed, because I thought about all of those years of teaching moments that had passed me by. So don't forget and don't hesitate to take advantage of those teaching moments. And while you do, enjoy the journey. Join our Mentoring Our Own Facebook group. Ask your questions there and meet other moms that are in the trenches or other parents in the trenches. And you'll want to subscribe below so you don't miss the rest of the series, because the next video we're going to talk about those tasks that don't fit into family work and how they get handled. Join our newsletter and keep updated on the latest videos, blog posts, and offerings. I send out a newsletter every week with some homeschool or home management or mom culture tip, and then I list the videos that have been posted during the week, blog posts, and offerings. Put how long they are so that you know how long they are and what the topics are. And so you won't want to miss that. And above all, until next time, enjoy the journey.